Symmetrical all-wheel drive delivers power with incredible control, stability, and grip. Add 220 millimeters of ground clearance, and you're not getting stuck in snowbanks. You'll drive right through them. And inside, luxurious heated seats and a heated steering wheel. Plus, for 19 years in a row, Subaru vehicles have earned top safety pick status, giving you unmatched peace of mind. Subaru is engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Welcome to Uncommon Standards.
Ho, ho, ho! 'Tis the season to find the perfect gift at the perfect price at Leduc Goldsmiths.
The annual Christmas sale is on now with 10 to 25% off all in-store products. All natural and lab-created diamond engagement rings up to 25% off with a wide selection available. You'll have no trouble finding the right piece. The team at Leduc Goldsmiths have years of expertise to help find what you need. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's Jewelry Store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years.
This is Sports 1440 and the all-new Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Good morning. Thank you guys for tuning in to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky online, wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Go pay them a visit. Only available in Leduc. Makes a great last-minute Christmas present, maybe a stocking stuffer. If you're looking for something, throw in a little bag of beef jerky. Promise you, you will not be disappointed. Can't say that for the Oilers weekend. You might have been a little bit disappointed. You're probably pretty happy Saturday night, the way things went. It obviously dropped off last night. Maybe you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and you're very disappointed that they haven't made the playoffs and won't do so for the first time in over a decade. It was an interesting weekend in the NFL. We'll talk about that as well. In case you're new here, I'm Connor Halley. We got Brandon Douglas here as well. Sam Wilness and Josh Fenwick keeping us on track on the YouTube stream. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. You can do the same on Facebook. I think Twitch as well. If you're watching on Twitter or Instagram, I commend you because it's probably not the most user-friendly thing. Well, hop over to YouTube. Give us a subscription, Sports 1440 AM, and hit that like button like I'm doing so right now. Duke, a.k.a. Brandon Douglas, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Connor. I'm doing well. Feeling refreshed on a Monday morning. The weather, a little bit of a positive turn here, plus temperatures expected today. Should make an absolute mess of things out on the roadways, I would kind of assume, to see when I leave the building later on today. But I'm happy. Another big win for my Texans. They continue to roll. And fantasy football, I've got a chance. It's all a guy can ask for on Monday Night Football is to have a chance.
That's nice. I'm envious.
Not the case for you?
No, my number one seed team, which I will say, and it's just loser talk now.
Total loser talk.
Should have got a bye. It's a 10-team league. 8 teams make the playoffs. It should be 6 teams. Top 2 seeds get a playoff bye.
That's I have a 10-team league, and that's what we do.
Yeah, so I can't really bring that up in the offseason meetings, but it should be that way. Anywho, I'm going to bow out. Really bad situation. I was up with the little guy at 4:30 a.m. yesterday. Was up with him for about 4 hours and thought I got to get some sleep, so I'm going to set my alarm for 11 a.m., get up, be good to go. Well, Roma Dunze and the Chicago Bears let me down with this one as he was a late scratch. I heard ESPN had the notification coming out like 5 minutes after kickoff that he wasn't going to play. My other guys failed me as well. Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian Watson got hurt. That didn't help me. Chuba Hubbard. Jonathan Taylor was okay. Couldn't find Pater. I got one touchdown notification all afternoon, and it was George Kittle. So bowing out in that one. My other league, I did have the bye, so we'll see what happens next week, but not ideal. But you know what? It was sweet. It was okay because the LA Chargers beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Brutal news for the Kansas City Chiefs as Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL. He's done for the year. Gardner Minshew will take over. Could that impact you in fantasy? Potentially. I would imagine Rashee Rice, you'll still put him in there, but maybe he doesn't put up the big numbers. Maybe he does. Maybe Minshew just targets him. Maybe you start Travis Kelce. I don't know.
What if he just keeps getting decked out there by defensive players?
Teams are teeing off on Mr. Rashee Rice, aren't they?
And then the jokes queue up naturally online, something about high-speed collisions. Rightfully so.
Tony Jefferson got him yesterday. The week before it was
Jalen Petrie absolutely decked him, yeah.
I think Petrie blew him up a little worse. Jefferson got him like right in between the numbers.
Yeah,
probably winded him.
Like form tackle, pretty textbook there. Yeah, Petrie got him a little bit higher. Probably stung a little bit more, but like you said, the winded nature. And then Eddie was talking about this morning. Like the Chargers were just teeing off on all over the field.
Yeah.
And then finally just one kind of questionable hit and get out of here. You're done, buddy. Pigeon tossed.
I don't know what the NFL standard is because Chargers fans are like, Thornton catches the ball and then ducks.
Yeah.
And Jefferson hits him with the top of his face mask. It's not crown of the helmet, so it's not targeting.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
and
tough
even
one.
in the NFL, targeting is not an automatic ejection, right? In college it is, but it's a 15-yard penalty and then at the discretion of the referee. And I think, is it if you get 2 targeting penalties in one game, that turns into an automatic ejection, or I'm not even sure.
I don't even know. Like it's 2 unsportsmanlike conducts or whatever gets you ejected.
Right. Yeah. One foul towards ejection.
I mean, the Chargers were quick to bring up a video against the Commanders earlier this year where Quentin Johnson took a shot way worse than that. And it was like after he was already being held up.
Right.
Like that was just a bang play. Eddie tweeted me. But yeah, the Chargers were throwing some hits and Chiefs fans mad about it, calling them dirty. I loved it. Be the bully. It's football. It sucks when a player gets ejected. And that was like the third safety that the Chargers were down at that point. Kind of, could have benefited Kansas City, but they're out. I mean, is the football world rejoicing? Duke, I don't know what your feelings are about the Texans, but you see the meme circuit. Everyone's like, finally a world where Kansas City, Mahomes, Brittany, and even Taylor Swift will not be on the broadcast.
Right. I think, and maybe it depends on what type of fan you are. Like for me, I see some bittersweetness in it that I'm glad to not see the Chiefs in. There's going to be some fresh blood this year, right? A lot of new teams changing to the guard a little bit, even if it is somewhat temporary. A lot of these teams, Ravens, Chiefs, maybe we'll expect them back. And Ravens still very much in the mix, right?
Yeah,
but he get a fresh look in a wide open year. A year like the parity is as best as I have seen it in the NFL. And maybe you can say that's just because there's not really any super good teams and they're all pretty just okay, as opposed to saying a collection of excellent clubs. Whatever. But then on the flip side of this anti-Chiefs sentiment is like tore his ACL. Like he's gonna be out, 9 months most likely. Kind of very much flirting with the start of next season if he'd be ready to go to kick off the 26 campaign, or if he misses the first couple weeks or so. Like that's all to be determined here. And then you see the Parsons ACL tear as well for Green Bay. That's a tough look for a team that is almost certainly going to be in the playoffs and looks like a contending club. But yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for Mahomes even as much as I complain as the next person about the attention he gets and from broadcasters and the Swift treatment and all and on, whatever. You don't root for injuries, or at least I don't. And so as a result, it's tough to see, but yeah, hey, Chiefs, take a seat. Your turn's on the sideline for now.
Yeah. And I mean, I saw some Chiefs fans like dirty play. I think
it's like a football play where unfortunately stuff like that happens all the time.
Yeah. You still watch it in super slow motion. You're like, oh, maybe there's a twist, but it happens so fast. Mighty Cobra texting and Chargers DB gets himself ejected for helmet-to-helmet hit. So helmet-to-helmet is only allowed on special teams when it causes a turnover, or it's only allowed when the Patriots do it. Signed, confused on the rules again.
Confusing the rules is the perfect way to put it. And you see this across all of football, and whether it be on the physical parts of the game, catches. How is that a touchdown on the Rams play at the goal line? Like he's clearly a full yard short, and they're like, "Yeah, no, this is good."
Yeah,
right. Split the uprights, so that doesn't make any sense. And I've always been I've made it very vocal that I don't understand how a sport can essentially completely change its rules in the final 2 minutes of a game, and And like then the what qualifies a catch in an end zone versus an out of an end zone is totally different. I love so many things about football in the NFL, but there's also so many things that leave a person scratching their head about like the consistency simply does not exist across the enforcement of the rules.
It's like every crew kind of has their own like simple rules, but like, I mean, I guess kind of with the NHL too, you never know what you're going to get night in, night out with what's a cross check, what's a hook, like what's a grab.
It's fair.
It's kind of just those things that I guess make it interesting. But yeah, he knee down 1 yard line, touchdown. It makes no sense. I will say, just with Mighty Cobra's text about like what's what. I mean, I brought it up. I didn't even need provoking. That there was a worse play on Quentin Johnson, gave him a concussion, and it was nothing. So you never know week to week. Jordy says, "Dude, do not anger the Swifties." I will. Hey, I'm not trying to. It's just it's a nice break,
dude. The Chiefs are out of the playoffs. Do you think any Swifties are keeping tabs on sports anymore? You can talk as much trash as you want. I'll never make it back to most of them.
They might be done. Husk says, CH, Rivers did about as good as he could have. His balls didn't have much zip, but did a good job managing. Well, I mean, when he threw that ball between the linebacker and safety to Warren, that one had some zip. I loved it. Absolutely huge fan of it. Loved the meme contents we got of like, this guy looks like an offensive coordinator when he's out there with his play sheet and little, vest or windbreaker. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of just what I thought. And there were some breakdowns of the line plays he made at the line of scrimmage where it's like, guys, don't do this. This is like, that's what I think he brings. Yes, he's not going to run. He was never going to run. There was the play where he just kind of fell over. It didn't look good. But I think, in my opinion, doing what they did against the Seahawks, like losing in that fashion, defense gets a stop, you win the game. So that's why you go with Phillip Rivers, in my opinion, because he can manage a game better than a guy who's not even through a full season, and Riley Leonard. Like even if he's 100% healthy, I'm going with Phillip Rivers because I just trust him to run the offense better.
But you say your defense gets to stop, you win the game. They held Seattle to without a touchdown.
But if they got to stop, they win the game.
I don't know. Like I think you really commend a guy like Phil Rivers for what he did at this stage, and it's very clear that his understanding and knowledge of the offense is the reason he was tapped to try and steer the ship here for the remainder of the season. And hey, they were right in it. Credit to him. Took some shots. The emotional press conference after the game talking about hopefully what it means to his own kids and the players he coaches down in Alabama. That's all great, and I'm here for it. The feel good element, but like, I'm sorry, I watched the whole game. Like, that ain't it.
But what I'm saying, that's the Seahawks defense is second best in the league, and no one's going to do better like that they have on their team. Riley Leonard's not going to do any better than that. Seahawks probably win by like 20 because there's a pick 6 or 2 in there.
Maybe. This is a big hypothetical. I'm not quite as sold on that notion as maybe you are on this specific spot, Connor. Like, I've been searching for the full numbers breakdown all morning. I've yet to find them while kind of doing it passively while still running the show and stuff in here. Like on the actual breakdown of like yards covered by Rivers passes, I think he maybe completed only a couple that were over 10 yards.
Yeah, it wasn't
like
deep.
And they were a lot of screen stuff and whatever. So yes, he knows the offense and he can manage the game to keep them in it if their defense plays as well as it did yesterday. But is this really the best option to try and win games to get you into the playoffs? And then if you get into the playoffs, what are we doing now? I think it's a tough spot for the Colts, no matter how you slice it. And yeah, you're either going with hopefully a little youthful exuberance to try and propel you in, maybe with Riley Leonard, who's been with the team all year, or this guy that just happens to run the offense of the team because he's friends with the head coach going back to his days as a Charger.
You put Riley Leonard against that defense in that environment, and I bet Seattle covers a spread. I bet he puts them in bad situations.
You tell me Riley Leonard couldn't hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor 28 times or whatever the final stat line was?
There would be running into walls, into oncoming blitzes. I think it would have been a lot worse. There was 46 seconds left. 47.
When they kicked the go-ahead field goal.
Yeah. So you left them with 47 seconds to hold them. That's what I'm saying. If your defense gets a stop, you win that football game. What was the spread in that game? 13 points? 13 and a half?
13 and a half, yeah.
Like, you're right there. I know. I'm not saying Phillip Rivers dominated. Far from it. But they were right there to win that football game. If they could have held Sam Darnold prevented him from getting that 25 yards in 29 seconds. They could have won the game. No timeouts either. Got him to use all the timeouts.
So you give Seattle a little credit there because the offense had largely been stymied all day, and then you get just enough time to move it down, and then your guy kicks what was close to a career-long field goal to win the game. Yeah. So, it's not breaking any records at 56 yards, but it's also not quite a freebie either. Outdoors at Seattle at Lumen. So, I don't know. I give the Seahawks credit for winning a game they absolutely should have won, even if it wasn't maybe by the margin a lot of people expected. But I'm also not quite at the stage of patting Phil Rivers on the back for doing some admirable job in a game he threw for 120 yards on like 20 attempts.
You're a hater.
Maybe so, but I also didn't think this was a very, like at this stage of this Colts season, even if you get a couple wins down the stretch to get into the playoffs, for what? You're not going to host a playoff game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they probably weren't going to go far anyway.
To get absolutely whomped, like, why not at least roll Riley Leonard out there and see if he is a viable backup for you moving forward or whatever the case? I don't know.
Maybe they will. Maybe they'll go that route. But I'm just saying, that game goes a lot different direction if Riley Leonard's out there, in my opinion. MTR says Seahawks didn't get a touchdown. They did their job. They did. But they had, I didn't say they didn't do their job. I said at the end of the game, if they get a stop, they win the game.
This is almost like to draw some comparisons across, and maybe we can get into this if we want to talk any Oilers at some point about like the goaltending, right? Like, yeah, your goalie can give up one goal on 30 shots over the course of 59 minutes, but then what if he, gives up one in the final minute to lose the game? At least here in Edmonton, people love to say, well, he doesn't come up with the big saves at the big times, right? He doesn't have the clutch gene. Well, Seahawks defense or the Colts defense did a really good job all day, and then they just had to try and hold them, a team with no timeouts left, to gaining less than essentially 35 yards in the final minute, and they would have won the game.
I mean, and if in hockey, if that score was 0-0, I'd say yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
They did their job, but it was a field goal away. There was 46 seconds. It was no timeouts. I'm not gonna rip the defense. Like I thought that was actually a really good performance by the Colts. Like Rivers would be the reason. And who knows what Daniel Jones does, but Rivers was the weak point of the offense, 100%. Not going to deny that, but they were in a position to win, which I don't think anybody would have had. We will talk Oilers for sure. Text line. Will Philip Rivers be the reason for a fantasy frenzy divorce? It might be. It's my passion. Triple C in a truck says Rivers threw for more touchdowns than Mahomes and Burrow combined yesterday. Elite.
I'm not saying those guys played good.
Eden says Douglas is a hater and is trying too hard to discredit Philip and the Colts. Eden, Father Various. I think Eden and I were both just older gentlemen that are like, don't take this away from him. MTR says Rivers got them into range to a 60-yard field goal. Not like he did his heroic drive. Well, he got him a field goal range. They hit it.
Yeah, and that little wimp-looking Blake Groupie.
He bombed it.
He got pigeon tossed by the Saints this year.
For the record, I was glad the Colts lost because I need them to keep losing out of that wild card spot. Just saying.
That's okay, I get it.
I want these teams to keep losing.
But your Chargers won, so what is it? Like, at this point, do they not control their own destiny? Like, as long as they win?
They got a tough schedule, though. So I need other teams to lose, too.
You got to play a house divided only a few days after Christmas. That might be the divorce here between Fantasy Frenzy is if things really shake out in a tough spot and the Texans beating the Chargers on a Saturday night causes them to not get into the playoffs.
It's Houston on Saturday afternoon. Chargers are going to lose.
Yeah, they're nails.
The Texans
just they live in that spot.
They get that spot every postseason, and that's early. So I've already accepted, but that's why I need other teams to keep losing. So the Chargers just get that spot, and we don't worry about it. Rod says, "Don't ever say Mahomes is as good as Brady. He's good, but not that good." Rod, we never said that. Thanks for mentioning, but we never.
But with this injury, if you want to put a positive spin on it for Pat Mahomes, he does get to continue the same streak that Brady had for his entire career, and he's got a long way to go because Brady did play well into his 40s, but never taken a snap with your team eliminated from the playoffs.
So they both suffered at the age of 30.
A torn ACL.
Yeah. At the
Brady's was at the start of the season. Mahomes obviously at the end. But
yeah, they were both 3 Super Bowls in, winning 3 Super Bowls. So they're on the exact same trajectory.
It's kind of weird how it It tracks out that way.
Yeah.
But listen, I still think Mahomes. I'm not like writing him off, but obviously the play and the team has not been nearly as good the past couple of years. They're going to miss the playoffs here, and I still think he could easily win a couple more Super Bowls for sure. Like I think he's that good of a player. I think it's very much up to Chiefs management and stuff to retool this team around him a little bit to give him some more viable offensive weapons, more reliable offensive weapons, maybe because the skill on the team is very high. But we've seen Rice struggle with some drops quite a bit here since or this season in particular. Kelsey, is this it for him? The O-line, they drafted Josh Simmons, who is having a pretty good year. He's banged up right now, but still I would say a weakness of the team is the O-line.
Yeah.
Can you get a bona fide running back instead of like playing it between 2 or 3 different guys every year?
They tried. Drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire first round.
Didn't work.
And then Simmons, like I didn't even know, like he just kind of disappeared from the team for 3 weeks.
Josh Simmons?
Yeah.
Is he not hurt?
Allegedly there was like, I didn't know this, and I just saw that there was some questions like his knock in the draft was, does he love football?
Right.
I didn't know that. I thought he was just hurt at Ohio State his last year. Was it Ohio State?
Yeah.
Like the guy's good when he's healthy.
Well, most scouts said that if he'd been healthy his draft year, he would have been the first tackle off the board. Instead, he goes at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that either.
Maybe people just saying it now.
The commitment to the game thing.
Just from
the Josh Rosen argument.
Oh, yeah.
But turns out he just wasn't good.
He's rich. He doesn't need football.
I think he's currently taking his master's at an Ivy League business school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like his MBA.
Jags fan Alex says the AFC South is crazy, but Duval.
The Jags might be for real.
I gotta say, I might have sold Liam Cohen short because of his press conference.
Yeah.
1 year in Tampa, that's all you need. Now he's good.
Although Canales, the Panthers could not get a much needed win yesterday.
That's tough for my worst team in the league bet too.
It's like the AFC South. Yeah, that is bad.
Yeah. Freaking Panthers.
Browns.
I'm like, they have such an easy schedule. And then it's like, well, the Browns get the Steelers, Ravens, and Bengals.
Yeah.
It's a competitive division, but it's not elite. Oh, well.
Well, not this year anyway.
Not this year. Husk says, lay off my Colts, BD. Yeah. I don't know. Like
I said, I can respect and admire the effort by Phil Rivers to do this. Like they called him, right? And he took the call and says, sure, I'll give this a try. I think there's a lot to admire about that and appreciate, but
they got to let the reins off him. Let him just go zip it.
Yeah. Well, man, a couple of those throws though, that were not even that far. A lot of wobble on that ball.
Well, 44 years old.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, what are we expecting here? I went in with low expectations, and I would say that they were very largely met. Like, I was like, this is what I expected the game to look like. Hand the ball to Jonathan Taylor a lot. A little bit easier for the Seahawks to scheme against defensively. And he had, 80 yards on the ground, but didn't find the end zone. Didn't bust off any big plays. It's kind of the same story that we've seen from the Colts offense in the last little bit since Jones first fractured his leg or his tibia,
yeah.
Whatever it was. And then obviously the Riley Leonard experience thereafter.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't got a big game out of JT in well over a month. Well, 5 weeks. He absolutely went off against Atlanta, 244. But since then, 58 yards, 85, 74, 87. Good, but averaging well under 5 yards per carry.
When you compare it to a guy that was in the MVP conversation, when the Colts were the number 1 seed in the division or in the conference, excuse me. So it's unfortunate because it's also come at the cost of my fantasy team where he largely carried me between him and Devon Achane for the first half plus of the year. Now I need a few other guys to try and step up in that spot, one of which being Devon Achane tonight.
No. He and Gibbs crushed me yesterday.
Turns out the Lions. It's funny because even on a day like yesterday where Amon-Ra goes off, they have so many offensive weapons, but if Jahmyr Gibbs is not going, they do not win football games. I think they're 0 for on the year now in a game Gibbs does not score a touchdown.
I mean, we could probably dig that up. It is. I mean, and that game was frustrating too for the Lions, I'm sure. Devontae Adams, hamstring injury, could miss some time. But yeah, I mean, in a game where you only get him 13 carries, and realistically, like Amon St. Brown, great game for sure. 18 targets, 13 catches. I mean, they were trying to throw the football. Jameson Williams actually had a really good game as well. Had 7 grabs on 9 targets. But when you can't get Gibbs involved in the passing game as well as they want to either, I think that kind of makes it a little tougher for them. Oh, well, we're late. We'll take a quick break, come back with more of your texts. It's Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. December is here. Christmas shopping, Christmas wrapping, Christmas baking, grocery shopping. What about our vehicle? Does it need tires? It's not running? No problem. We got you covered. At Northgate GM, we have a tremendous selection of newer used vehicles, winter tires at cost, and of course, service with a smile. Come in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
You haven't set your lineup yet, right? It's Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Welcome back. It's Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick, and Sam Williams with you here in the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Well, lots to get to still here on the show. We got some fantasy hockey questions coming into, some Oilers talk as well. I want to talk Patriots Bills as well, because that was a fun game. This segment for elksnation.ca, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth double E football coverage you'll find anywhere. Check it out online, anywhere you get your podcast from. You can watch it on YouTube or head over to elksnation.ca for all the info and read some articles as well. Duke, we were talking about, hypotheticals and things and such. Going back to that game on Saturday night, Oilers knock off the Leafs 6-3. Tristan Jarry gets his first start for the team. And I did notice the save percentage was .893. And a lot of people saying that's Skinner-like, people who wanted a trade but maybe didn't want this trade. if you go through the first 59 minutes, and capital if, his save percentage was, I believe, like 928. When you're up 4 goals, you're through 59 minutes, your save percentage is 928. Let's just say it was around there. You're probably pretty happy, right? The late goal drops it down to 893. So,
Fickle.
Save percentage, garbage time goals can ruin it. You mentioned it during the break. Last week, Calvin Pickard let in a late one, and it took his save percentage below 900. Just remember that. I'm not saying it was perfect, but he had a pretty good save percentage. A late goal, garbage goal, didn't change anything. Dropped it below 893. We'll see what's going to happen going forward here. Stuart Skinner looks like he got his work visa all straightened out.
Things are lining up for the double revenge game.
He's all set to go. He will wear number 74 with the Penguins. Kulak got his as well. He's going to wear number 77 as 27 was already taken. So I'll look for those tomorrow night in that matchup. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. We'll scroll a little bit lower here. We had questionable scholar text in. If we want production from the bottom 6, I believe we being the Oilers, I think we need to present consistent third and fourth lines with identities. But Frederick with Lazar and Tomashek work the cycle. They all have some success doing that. Then run Henrique with Hudson and Yanwork or Mangiapane. They play a responsible counterattack role. Then keep rolling with the emphasis on playing to their identities. Unless you missed it, or in case you missed it, Hudson was called up from Bakersfield. So we assume he might get a look in there. We saw him with the Oilers last season. I do agree with you. Like, I would love to just see the consistency with all the lines. And unfortunately, Duke, I don't know, you're all over the NHL. Is there a coach, do you think, that does that? Like in Edmonton, we see the blender all the time, and I can imagine it's probably all over the league because, teams got to try to generate something.
Yeah. It's funny because usually when I'm watching out-of-market teams, it is just like a game or two at a time, outside of the Oilers and the Ducks, who, for respective, I watch basically all of those two teams' games, and then I see who their opponents are. So I can know a lot of Western Conference, obviously, where both teams play. But so it's kind of tough to gauge, but I do think that Chris Knobloch has a pretty itchy trigger finger on that thing about just blender, or to an extent, it's just nuclear option line. And then as a result, everything else gets shuffled around. It's not just a matter of swapping Leon Draisaitl with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins or Zach Hyman. Because if you're replacing Hyman, now you need someone else to play center on the second line. And so the trickle-down effect continues to impact the rest of the roster. But also in games the Oilers chase, which they were yesterday from the start of the second period on, essentially, he leans so heavily on the top pairing of defense, Bouchard and Ekholm, both 25 minutes plus last night. The top line, and two, if he does actually keep McDavid and Draisaitl separated. And unfortunately, and then you roll in special teams, that doesn't leave a lot of minutes left over for guys in the bottom 6 more often than not. And so it's a catch-22. And Kevin and Eddie actually kind of had a little back and forth about this morning. All right, is it not fair to the bottom 6 when they're only playing 45 seconds every 8 minutes to say, how do you expect them to accomplish anything when you're just basically getting the legs going again each time you get out there? Or is it a matter of you got to do something with the time you're afforded to earn more of it moving forward and be looked at as a trustworthy option? Now, I'm on the side that in games where you do play them more, AK ones that you're usually leading by or leading in, they've shown that they can be effective at least not giving up goals at times, right? The offensive production from the bottom 6, I think there's still a lot to be desired there. But in games where you're trailing and if you're only down by a couple, is it necessary to just roll out the third and fourth lines once every third time around the order? You're just flip-flopping top line, second line, top line, third line, top line, second line, top line, fourth line, right? I think a little more mix in there would go a long way, and maybe consistency on those lines would play a factor in doing so.
Yeah, they got to be productive in some form.
They got to do something.
You can't just go out there and even if you're just not hemmed in your own end, I'd suppose that's not a bad thing. Trev at Center text, hey guys, fantasy hockey question. I've got Hurricanes have 3 goalies on the roster. Brandon Bussey is available on my waiver wire. Is he worth picking up? He's 11-1 on the season.
For that reason alone, I say yes. Now, the 3 goalie situation, we see it in Carolina. We see it in Buffalo. It's not a recipe for success, especially if you're talking fantasy side. Now, at least Carolina is a good team. Buffalo is not. But the injury concerns to Anderson, Kochetkov, he's missed some time this year as well. It's tough because you're not going to get the same quantity of starts out of a guy like Bussey, but you're going to get quality ones, or at least that's how it's been indicated through his very brief NHL career so far. But I don't see until he actually is maybe reassigned to Rockford or Charlotte, maybe. Is that where their AHL team is these days?
Checkers?
The Charlotte Checkers. I would keep him. I would having him in there, and then obviously check in places like Daily Faceoff to make sure you have the right starter on a given day. Don't leave him in your lineup over top of somebody else if he's not playing that night. So, but I think he's worth picking up for sure because the results have been there when he's been in the net.
Yeah, and like close competitive games.
Very.
Shootouts, overtimes, he's all over it. His only loss was a 3-2 loss to the Dallas Stars going back to October, but plays 4 games a month so far. And then he played last night. He played on Thursday, played Tuesday, played Saturday. So he's had success. I'd be all over that one if you can go grab him. Okay, Sean, talking some NFL here. Never thought the Jags, Rams, and Broncos would be my top 3 teams to win it all. Bills were my top pick, but Allen has to basically play like Superman for them to beat good teams. Doesn't seem like a formula to win. Yeah, I mean, and like you look at those 3 teams. The Rams had their bad game against the Panthers, got that out of the way. Broncos, Bo Nix was good yesterday. Trevor Lawrence, it looks like he's found his coach that's kind of unlocked him. They're playing good ball right now. Defense is playing well. That's fair. I mean, we're going to have questions like Eagles got their confidence back game against the Raiders, winning 31-0. An absolute beatdown. But this is the frustration as a biased Chargers fan. Like, man, if Alt and Slater stay healthy, this just seems like a year where it's so wide open. And yeah, I'm with you, Sean. I never would have thought Jags, Rams, Broncos would be right in there. And they are. MTR, just talking about Mahomes' regression. He's had double-digit interceptions and hasn't broken 30 touchdown passes since 2022. It's different. There was that stretch there, and let's just say 2019 to 2022, where he wasn't going to lose, and he was within the range. He was going to find a way to win, and I still have that in my memory. Watching that game last night, for the Chargers, he's going to find a way to march down the field.
That last drive, right before he goes down injury, kind of seemed like this is a game that in the past the Chiefs always win.
Yeah. And it's not going to be a tie. It's going to be a touchdown.
Last season, 12-0 in 1-score games. This year, I think they're now 1-6 after last night, maybe 1-7. I'd have to check the stats to be sure, but it's just that's kind of just how the sports gods shine down on you, right? Sometimes you've got the hot hand and the luck, and people will say that for the Chiefs, maybe officials sometimes putting some thumbs on the scales with favorable calls as well. Sure, listen, when you're a good team, it kind of just instinctive that you get more favorable calls than not. And I get it. The numbers don't lie about Mahomes' personal game, but I also think that just the team has not been nearly as good. And sure, if he was as good as some, maybe even myself, believe him to be, he could overcome stuff like that. But the O-line has been a mess. The defense has kind of regressed a ton on the other side of the ball too, since they last won the Super Bowl a few seasons ago. And it kind of all started with the departure of Tyreek Hill as that electric option, downfield one. They've tried to replace him with guys like Worthy. Thornton at the start of this year had a lot of deep bomb looks, and Rashee Rice has shown signs of being that super reliable middle of the field mid-range type guy, almost replacing Travis Kelce out of the slot as a receiver. But he's kind of struggled this season too, coming off of injury or suspension, both. Whatever the case. So
suspension.
It's just things haven't quite meshed for them this year. If they can make some changes, I'm not saying wholesale everybody out but Mahomes. As long as they have Mahomes, and I still think Andy Reid is a really good coach, even if he's closer to the end than the beginning right now. I'm not ready to totally write the Chiefs off as starting down the path of a rebuild or something.
No, and I mean, you just talk about the receivers, and I feel like we get Hollywood Brown. He can be Tyreek Hill. Draft Xavier Worthy. He can be Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Tyreek Hill,
He's one of one.
He was a speed guy, but he developed into a really good receiver. Like really, really good. So I don't think, it's not as simple as that. Like he fell in the draft for issues in college. Like you can go look it up. There's a reason he fell where he was. I think some teams took him right off their draft board. He turned out to be a very good player for them. And it was not just as simple as, we'll fix this. We'll just have this done. Kansas City, as they sit right now, Duke, minus $34 million in the salary cap next year.
Is that allowed?
Next year.
Oh.
So like contracts going up. So they have to work some magic here.
Could you see a scenario where they try to take a Brady type approach and go to Mahomes and say, hey, can we restructure this to make things a little better on us in the short term?
I'm pretty sure he already is pretty team friendly. His cap hit, next year is $78 million.
That is a lot.
That'll probably change. They'll push it down the road.
That's what I mean, right? Like just kick the can.
100%. 25% of your cap right there in one player. That'll be fixed.
That's all fine and dandy when you only have 8 players like in basketball, but when you need to employ like 40 on an NFL roster, 25% to one guy is a little too much, I think.
You wonder if, there's players they might move on from. Hypothetically, Jawan Taylor is making $27 million.
And he's been unavailable a lot of this year and much maligned when he has played, even in seasons past, for penalties, and gets away with a lot of penalties and all that.
Yeah. So that's gonna be like, the storylines never end in the NFL. The Chiefs are gonna get a good pick probably in the draft as well.
Nice.
MTR says, I feel you, Connor. If San Fran had Bosa and Warner, I'd love their chances. Yeah. Like it just seems like this year it's so wide open, and staying healthy is key. Mitch says, Connor, Chargers 10 wins, 2 overs the Chiefs. How confident should we be going forward? I'm a little skeptical with the offense and how Herbert will be moving forward with the injured hand. Thoughts? Yeah, the defense is stepping up huge, like game-winning interceptions the last 2 weeks. I'm not too confident, to be honest.
Is there any hope of like reinforcements on the O-line?
Don't think so. I think they're both done.
Like I know Slater and Alt were season-long deals, but like anywhere else,
Trey Pipkins, if you want to call that an upgrade. I think Hart was starting yesterday. No, it kind of is what it is. And they're confident with Bradley Bozeman at center, which is just a meme every week about getting lost. It's not great. But hey, we'll see. Maybe they get the rematch with the Texans in the playoff Saturday, 1:00 or whatever it is, second week of January. Sheldon, we had this text come in last week actually as well. Hypothetical, would
before the trade?
Would you trade Bouchard for Quinn Hughes when he was available, approximately same money? I think we made its way to social media. Duke, you're like, no, because we don't know if he's going to resign.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm at with Minnesota. Like this trade obviously happened after we were well off the air on Friday, and it just kind of piled on to what was already a pretty wild day on the NHL trade front with the Oilers pulling off the moves that they did earlier in the morning. And like this is a big swing by Bill Guerin. To hit home runs, you have to take big swings, and they gave up a lot. Like do not be fooled here. And I'm a little concerned for Minnesota that like they might have taxed their forward depth, which was not particularly strong down the middle of the ice from an offensive perspective. You trade away a guy that had 60 points last year, trending back towards that again, former top 10 pick, little bit of a slower developer, but very much looking like an offensive driver. You trade him, Zeev Boehm, who is right in the mix with like Matthew Schaefer for the rookie defenseman scoring lead, a former first-round pick in Liam Mogrim, and then another top pick, which, probably going to be at the bottom end of this upcoming draft, the first round. It is a lot to give up for no certainty that he's going to play more than a year and a half on the team. And so for that reason on the Bouchard front, I said I wouldn't do it for that reasoning of the uncertainty. And that's kind of where I'm at with Minnesota right now, saying like, if you can't get an extension done, it all changes. Josh made this good point earlier. It changes if you win a Stanley Cup this year, I guess, basically, right? Because flags fly forever. The Kawhi Leonard basically reasoning with the Raptors. But if you don't, and all of a sudden you just have to flip him again at the next deadline to Jersey or wherever else, or he walks in free agency following, you kind of tanked your futures a little bit here by giving up guys like Boehm, Rossi, and maybe even Ogrim. So
yeah, it's kind of like we saw this last year with Mikko Rantanen, right? Where it's like Carolina took him on and oh crap, we can't sign him.
Got to move on again.
Move on,
and they
right?
made out pretty well. They gave up a big package to get him. They hauled in a pretty nice return in moving on from him again. So they didn't let it cripple them or run the risk of getting to free agency. It's kind of, the comparables there. The difference is Minnesota will get this full season out of him, or the remainder of this full season, I guess, out of him regardless, and then reassess. Post game yesterday, he expressed an openness to signing an extension there. He's not like shutting it down cold open here, but was it Brad Marchand himself when kind of maybe tangentially asked about it? He said like, well, yeah, both of his brothers play in Jersey. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out where he'd want to go.
Yeah.
Right? We all are aware of this. Jersey was in the mix to acquire him. And Minnesota obviously provided the best package. And if I was Vancouver, I would have been pretty keen on taking that too, especially with my hand being forced the way it was. It seemed like he was wanted out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I love the package for Vancouver.
I love it a lot. I really do.
Like it sucks. Like, these guys are not robots. You don't just acquire their services for 20 years, no questions asked. Like, there's a human element to it, and you're allowed to leave at some point. So it sucks for the Canucks, but the package they got, I'd say that's pretty damn good. And obviously it helps doing it now versus next year when it's free agency. You get him for the term benefits the Vancouver Canucks in that situation. And yeah, you're right. I don't know. Like, I don't have a brother. Would I want to be in the same city all the time with my sisters? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm not. It's hard for me to put myself in his shoes. Maybe that's a really tight-knit family. They all want to be together, and it's inevitable. And if that is the case for Minnesota, that sucks.
It's tough, but hey, it's pretty open this year in the NHL. Colorado, obviously clear top it, but the rest of that division, Dallas, Minnesota, just got better.
Yeah.
Despite my criticisms of the forward and the center lineup, adding Quinn Hughes makes you better, without a doubt. He's the second best defenseman in the league. So
got a goal yesterday.
He did. A little 5-hole tuck, trying to imitate my own goal for Tropics hockey last night, perhaps a little bit. Yeah, it's so interesting, and it's fun time to be a hockey fan because guess what? As always, no matter what somebody says, there's no player that's not movable. Even franchise cornerstones.
We've seen it. Wayne Gretzky got traded.
We done seen it.
Cue people texting in. He was sold. Take a break. When we come back, more text. 1-833-401-1440. It's Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century. And we're just getting started. Check us out at cantork.com. Our tools age better than I do.
I'm making my list, checking it twice. And guess what? I'm giving Will Hawk Beef Jerky to everyone, naughty and nice. Because honestly, everyone deserves a taste of Alberta's finest, no matter if they've been bad or good. So this holiday season, skip the chocolates and pass on the turkey. Make sure you're Will Hawking around the Christmas tree with Alberta's best beef jerky. Ho, ho, ho!
Available at Will Hawk Beef Jerky in Leduc.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
After 20 years, Canada's most prestigious international hockey tournament returns. The Camrose Viking Cup, December 28th to January 4th at Encana Arena. Tickets at vikingcup.ca. Brought to you by Sports 1440.
Reason number 37 why Nissan is built for our winter. Because winter getaways should be cozy, not cold. Kick's standard heated front seats and side mirrors help keep you warm and your view clear. That's winter ready. Now, lease a 2026 Kicks S front-wheel drive for $349 monthly at 3.9%. Or get $2,000 cash purchase bonus on remaining 2025 models. Visit your local Nissan dealer today or nissan.ca for more details. Lease term for 48 months with $1,249 down. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It's 11:48. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week. Weather's getting a little bit nicer. Gonna get some snow tonight. I'll probably shovel 7:01 a.m.
6:05.
It is gonna be quite nice today. It's gonna be rain, I guess, when it comes down, or is it coming down later tonight? It's gonna be like -3 when it starts to snow, per my Apple weather app.
I thought you were going to say per your sources.
Per my sources. And then the snow's going to continue for a few days, all week, really. So
it's going to be a white Christmas.
Stay awake out there. Oh, yeah. I love that.
Well, a lot of snow will melt today.
You're right.
Between the rain and the above zero temperatures.
But it'll be back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, buddy, it'll be back with a vengeance, I'm sure.
A couple of years ago, not have a white Christmas. It was kind of brown.
Pretty brown.
Yeah, I remember like driving to my parents and like, this kind of sucks.
This sucks. I wish it was cold as hell.
I wish it was cold and snowy and dangerous.
Well, I'm like, a day like this, what does it do besides create a mess?
Oh, yeah.
Like, just stay -10.
Yeah.
That's fine. I obviously don't want to be -30 all the time, which looks like it's going to be again this next weekend. But I also don't want it to like fluctuate up to +3. What good does that do us?
Well,
like -10, -5.
It could melt the snow on my driveway.
So you don't have to shovel at 6 a.m.
And then it will freeze.
And then it will turn into glare ice.
And I got to go and salt it.
Your wife will slip going out to get in her vehicle.
No, she parks in the garage.
No.
But maybe the mail. No, we don't have a mailman.
You don't have what? I didn't have a mailman.
Well, we have one of those like
community box offices.
So it's like way far away.
Right.
Well, Amazon guy might slip, skip the dishes. So I'll get out there to do that. But anywho, hope you guys are having a great day. Kind of went off on a tangent there. Starting at noon, it's going to be the Lowdown with Low Tide. It's Alan Mitchell, in case you missed it. Host from noon to 2 with Declan Kruger. Today on the show, they'll have Rumors. We'll be joined by Bruce Kurlock, a little writer for, covers the Oilers prospects, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And go down to Bakersfield, I would learn and maybe talk a little bit about Quinn Hudson as well. Gregor will join them at 1:20, and then at 1:40 it'll be Mama MMA. Then today on the Jason Gregor show, we're just loading it up as we speak. Sean Brown will be with us, former Oiler. I don't know if he's listening right now, but I was cleaning out my closet, to paraphrase Eminem, and I found
a Sean Brown jersey.
No, an Oilers poster from 2001, and he was on the team.
How does that survive more than one move, let alone?
It was in my parents' closet at my parents' house.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like at your house that you just purchased last year.
No. So they were just like, you got to come clean out this closet. So I went, like, artwork from grade 1.
There's some good stuff.
I was gifted. Tell you what. I was apparently back to my favorite food was tacos. TOCOS.
Still are my favorite.
Tacos. And anyway, I found that poster. Found that old thing I had talked about a few times. My autographed The Rock and Owen Hart.
Okay.
So might try to sell that because it would probably bring more joy to someone else than to me.
Maybe our good friend Brad Slater can help. He's a memorabilia fanatic.
Well, so he called me. He was going through his closet and found a Chris Benoit autograph.
Okay.
And he was thinking about selling his. So he's like, I'll throw it up on eBay for you. See if anybody puts out an offer.
Chris Benoit, the wrestler?
Yeah. At that time, that's what he was known for.
Other things? Is he a bad guy?
Serious?
I don't keep tabs on things like this.
Look it up. We don't need to get into it. Look, you can look it up what he did after his wrestling career.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No. How'd you guys not know about this?
This was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
I was just a boy.
Matt, the promo guy, says, I would take the Owen Hart autograph. Well, it's with The Rock. But when he signed it, I think he was just Rock because that's how he autographed it.
Oh yeah, I looked it up already, Josh. I'm aware.
Yeah, I was kind of tiptoeing around. I don't know who's listening. I don't want to get too into it, but yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Oh, it's bad.
It's not good. Anyways, Brownie's going to be in. I'm going to get him to autograph my poster. Maybe he'll want to keep it. Kevin Woodley will join us from In Goal Magazine. Probably look at tomorrow night's game, Oilers and Penguins. Jari versus Skinner, we assume. Joe Smith from the Athletics going to join us, covers the Minnesota Wild. We'll talk about their big trade and what the plan is for Quinn Hughes going forward. Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, 5 questions. We'll have Eric Williams from the NFL on Fox joining us to look around the NFL, spec, and a whole lot more on the Gregor Show today. James from the Hood says the Benoit autograph will be worth nothing. No, that's what I kind of thought. I don't think I'd want it. Today also, from 2 to 6, the month of giving continues. Today's package, we're raising money for the Christmas Bureau. It's going to be a luxury suite to the Oilers game on January 6th when they take on Nashville. That's a 12-person suite, 2 underground parking passes, and a $500 food and beverage credit to use in the suite. All money to the Christmas Bureau. Tomorrow, a little package from Wilhock Beef Jerky, 4 low sheets for the Oilers and Islanders game. Wednesday, we got the Get Hooked fishing adventure with Louis DeBrusque, as well as the dinner at Vivo. And then Thursday, we have the one-on-one, 5-course meal with Struddy and Gregor at your home. You got a lot going on here. We're raising a lot of money for great charities, and Friday we'll do the month of giving, a pyramid of giving once again. So 2 to 6 today if you want to get in on the package. As I mentioned, it's the luxury suite for Oilers and Preds on January 6th. That's 12 people. So get your crew together, put some money together, and let's raise some money. For the Duke, Sam, and Josh, I'm Connor Halley. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at willhockbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5 games in the NHL tonight as the Panthers and Lysings face off in Tampa. Ducks take on the Rangers in New York. Senators square off with the Jets. Predators head to St. Louis to take on the Blues. And the Kings and Stars wrap up the night. And off the ice, Blackhawks star forward Connor Bedard has been put on IR after leaving Friday's game against the Blues with an upper body injury. Monday Night Football wraps up Week 15 in Pittsburgh as the Steelers host the Dolphins. Kickoff at 6:15. And off the field, Jets head coach Aaron Glenn has fired defensive coordinator Steve Wilks after falling to 3-11 in a 48-point blowout loss against the Jaguars. Toronto on the road tonight as they head to Miami to take on the Heat. Tip-off at 5:30 with 4 other games in the organization, with Detroit squaring off with the Celtics. Mavericks going head-to-head with the Jazz. Rockets take on the Nuggets in Denver, and the Grizzlies head to LA to take on the Clippers. Coming up next on Sports 1440, it's the Lowdown with Low Tide, and this has been your Sports 1440 update with Sam Wilness.